Jim and I were there because we were looping Kiefer Sutherland, who couldn't remember his lines on Bright Lights Big City. We were
Tell me something. What's your name?
Jack Larson.
Jack Larson.
That's my real name.
Oh yeah, you were
Jack Larson.
They didn't have to change
From
it.
Montebello, California. I was born and raised here.
Wonderful.
And my mom and dad were born and raised here. I had a contract at Warner Brothers. I did a film called Fighter Squadron. Working with Raoul Walsh, he never gave me direction, ever. And I had a major part with great people like Edmund O'Brien, and I never knew what to do. And so this was a big film, and he would say I would rehearse it with his an aide of his. And then we would get it on film. And the only thing Mr. Walsh would ever do, who had a patch over one eye and riding boots, and he would stand there and roll cigarettes, Bull Durham cigarettes. And I knew his work, with Errol Flynn and all these great films in Cagney. And all would happen, I would do a scene, and then Mr. Walsh would say to the script clerk, Irva Ross, say, "Did the kid get all the words?" And if she said yes, and then he'd say to the cameraman, "Is it all right for you, Sid?" And if the cameraman said it's all right, he'd say, "Okay, print it." And I was like, and I'd look to see if there was anything that I could get Mr. Walsh to say to me, but all I'd see was this Bull Durham, this circle with Bull Durham. And so I'd realize I need to learn to act. I wanted to get to New York, and I'd turned down a contract at 20th Century Fox. I'd been in a movie called Bells on Their Toes, which I was basically cut out of because I didn't want another stock contract. I wanted to get to the stage. I was offered to do The Adventures of Superman, the first television show ever filmed with one camera. This is 1951. Lucy was the 3-camera show, and now they were doing Warner Zones. They've been the bane of my life, and the show. And I didn't really want to do it. But my agent thought I should. It was, all this work, a summer's work. I think it was in July, and I was there at old Selznick studio, where they said, we want you for this. And I thought, my God, this is the end of the world. I'm studying acting with Michael Chekhov. They're proposing I do The Adventures of Superman, and they said, "Look, you're a mixed-up kid. Probably no one will ever see this. We don't know what it is. It's like doing a Saturday morning serial. You do this, and you have like 4 months' work at this rotten salary they gave me. And they said, you need to make up your mind. We're going to start shooting, and we want you." And so I went to the beach to surf in Ocean Park. It was the old Selznick studio, and I thought I'll think about it. And I went there, and I remember I surfed, and I got oil all over me, tar, and it was a mess. And they wanted to know that day, and I thought, why not? And I'm the tar baby anyway. So I went right back and I said, okay, I'll do it, and I did it. It didn't go in the air until 1953, and I thought, it's true, nobody will ever see this. And I was in New York, I was doing live television, and I went in there, and in 1 month, my acting career was destroyed. It became the most popular thing on television. I couldn't walk down. I had a little dungeon on East 82nd Street. I couldn't see daylight in, and I couldn't go down Madison Avenue. I couldn't go anywhere without cab drivers. 1 month I remember say, "Hey, Jimmy, where's your pal in the Cape?" And I became very famous as Jimmy Olsen, Superman's damnable pal. And I thought, this is the disaster that I thought it was, and I was type. And I went on and did that until George committed suicide. I got big offers to write a book, but I don't care to talk about my sex life, which is all they want in a book. But I'm talking about it here. Okay, go on.
Were you comfortable with your sexuality at that time?
I never thought about it, if you want to know. I knew very early that I liked guys, and I also liked girls. And at that time, I'd had one very bad experience with a guy. He was out of the Navy. I won't say his name. He's gone now. But he liked me, and I saw him a couple of times, and I didn't want to see him anymore. And so I was asked then to come tell him that by somebody that was in love with him. He'd been married and was out of the Navy. And I went to tell him, like an idiot, that I didn't want to see him anymore. And he tried to kill me. He just went off his rocker, and it's so much so he lived in a court in Pasadena that the police came. It was a horrible experience, and the police wanted me to press charge. I mean, he tried to kill me with a knife.